Cleopatra VII Theophilopator was born in 69 BCE, the last ruler of the Ptolemaic Kingdom of Egypt. She was a daughter of Ptolemy XII Auletes, who ruled Egypt from 80 BC until his death in 51 BC. Cleopatra's lineage was of Macedonian Greek descent, tracing back to one of Alexander the Great's generals, Ptolemy I Soter, who became the first Ptolemaic ruler of Egypt. As the Ptolemaic dynasty traditionally intermarried to preserve their power, Cleopatra's family history was complicated by sibling marriages, often resulting in political intrigue. After the death of her father, Cleopatra ascended the throne with her younger brother Ptolemy XIII when she was around 18 years old. According to custom, they ruled together, but soon tensions arose between them. Cleopatra, known for her intelligence and strong personality, sought to consolidate her power, which led to a struggle with her brother's regents. By 48 BCE, Cleopatra was effectively exiled from Alexandria, but she was determined to reclaim the throne. Cleopatra's fortunes changed with the arrival of Julius Caesar in 48 BCE, following his victory over Pompey in the Roman Civil War. In a dramatic move to gain Caesar's support, Cleopatra famously had herself delivered to him in a rug, seeking to negotiate her return to power. Caesar, impressed by her beauty, wit, and political acumen, formed an alliance with Cleopatra. Together, they defeated Ptolemy Xi's forces at the Battle of the Nile, securing Cleopatra's reign. In 47 BCE, Cleopatra gave birth to Caesar's son, Ptolemy XV, often known as Caesarion. Although Caesar never officially recognized Caesarion as his heir, Cleopatra's son was a living symbol of their union and a potential threat to Rome's future. After Caesar's assassination in 44 BCE, Cleopatra returned to Egypt, where she ruled independently but still sought to strengthen her position through alliances with powerful Roman figures. Cleopatra's next significant relationship was with Mark Antony, one of Rome's leading generals and a member of the Second Triumvirate. Their alliance began around 41 BCE, and they eventually became lovers, cementing a political and military partnership. Cleopatra gave birth to twins, Alexander Hegemon and Cleopatra Selene II, by Antony. In 34 BCE, Antony formally recognized Cleopatra and her children as rulers of various territories, which led to tensions with Rome, particularly with Octavian, the future Emperor Augustus. The conflict between Antony and Octavian escalated into a full-scale war, culminating in the Battle of Actium in 31 BCE. Antony and Cleopatra's forces were decisively defeated by Octavian's fleet. After their defeat, Antony and Cleopatra retreated to Egypt, where, faced with inevitable capture, both chose to commit suicide in 30 BC. Cleopatra's death marked the end of the Ptolemaic dynasty and Egypt's independence. She was 39 years old at the time of her death. Cleopatra's life and reign have been immortalized in literature, theater, and film, often emphasizing her romantic relationships with Julius Caesar and Mark Antony. However, historical records suggest that her primary ambition was to protect Egypt from the expanding power of Rome. She was a highly educated and capable ruler, fluent in several languages and an astute diplomat. Her ability to maneuver through the complex political landscape of both Egypt and Rome ensured her lasting legacy as one of history's most fascinating and influential women. Cleopatra's legacy, while often overshadowed by her romantic relationships, is marked by her strategic intelligence and political skill. She was a shrewd and capable ruler who worked tirelessly to maintain Egypt's independence in the face of Rome's growing dominance. She employed a blend of diplomacy, charisma, and military strategy, making alliances that were both personal and political in nature, and she played a pivotal role in the Roman civil wars. Her reign was marked by efforts to restore Egypt's prosperity, which had been undermined by the economic decline of her father's rule. Cleopatra worked to revive Egypt's agricultural and economic base, improving the country's infrastructure and trade. Her reign saw a cultural renaissance, as she sought to present herself as a continuation of Egypt's ancient pharaohs. She was also a patron of the arts, a supporter of scholars, and an advocate of Egyptian religious traditions, which helped bolster her image as a powerful and divine ruler. Cleopatra was often depicted in Roman propaganda as a seductress or manipulative figure, which has contributed to the long-lasting misconceptions about her character. However, historical records reveal that she was highly educated and politically astute, aware of the political and social dynamics of her time. She was the first Ptolemaic ruler to learn the Egyptian language, and she embraced Egypt's native culture, presenting herself as the living incarnation of the goddess Isis, an important figure in Egyptian religion. Her relationships with Julius Caesar and Mark Antony were driven as much by political necessity as by personal affection. She recognized the importance of these alliances for Egypt's survival, particularly in the face of Rome's expanding power. Cleopatra's reign was characterized by a mix of personal ambition and devotion to her country, seeking to navigate a precarious political situation while ensuring that Egypt remained an influential player on the world stage. Cleopatra's final years were spent fighting to maintain Egypt's autonomy against Octavian, who would go on to become Augustus, the first emperor of Rome. Despite her efforts, Cleopatra's death marked the end of both the Ptolemaic dynasty and Egypt's status as an independent kingdom. After her suicide, Egypt became a province of the Roman Empire, its centuries-old monarchy replaced by Roman rule. Her tragic end, along with the dramatic nature of her life and the political turmoil she faced, has kept Cleopatra in the collective imagination of the world. She is often remembered not just as a queen, but as a symbol of power, beauty, and resilience. While historical interpretations of her life have varied greatly over time, Cleopatra remains one of the most iconic figures in history, revered for her intellect, her leadership, and her unyielding determination to protect her country. In modern times, Cleopatra has been the subject of countless books, plays, movies, and scholarly studies. Her life continues to captivate audiences, inspiring both fascination and admiration. Yet, beyond the myths and romanticized portrayals, Cleopatra's reign stands as a testament to her remarkable ability to navigate one of the most tumultuous periods in history and to leave an enduring mark on the ancient world. Cleopatra's enduring legacy has significantly shaped the way history views powerful women in leadership roles. Despite the challenges and stereotypes that clouded her reign, her ability to wield power in an era dominated by male figures is a testament to her resilience. She stood as a strong leader during a time when women, especially in positions of political influence, were often dismissed or belittled in historical records. While much of her legacy has been shaped by romanticized portrayals, the complexities of her rule, marked by strategic alliances, military campaigns, and statecraft, underscore her true significance. In literature and art, Cleopatra has been immortalized in many ways, from Shakespeare's play Antony and Cleopatra to the 1963 film, starring Elizabeth Taylor, which perpetuated the image of Cleopatra as a seductress. Yet these portrayals often gloss over the deeper facets of her character, her intellectual capabilities, her mastery of statecraft, and her dedication to her people. For example, Cleopatra's political acumen allowed her to navigate the delicate balance of power with the rising Roman Empire, positioning herself as an equal player in a male-dominated political sphere. Her role as a mother also shaped her political decisions. Caesarion, her son with Julius Caesar, was her most immediate heir and a symbol of her connection to the Roman world. However, after Cleopatra's death, Caesarion was executed by Octavian's forces, symbolizing the end of the Ptolemaic line and the total assimilation of Egypt into the Roman Empire. Cleopatra's twins with Mark Antony, Alexander Hegemon, and Cleopatra Selene II also faced difficult fates. Though Selene was taken to Rome and eventually married King Juba II of Mauritania, her life served as a reminder of Cleopatra's commitment to her children's future, even as her empire crumbled. Scholars have also pointed to the significance of Cleopatra's role as a bridge between Egypt's ancient traditions and the emerging global power of Rome. She was one of the last rulers of Egypt who held the title of Pharaoh and worked to uphold the ideals of Egyptian kingship. In contrast, her successors were mostly puppet rulers placed by Rome. Cleopatra's ability to influence the trajectory of Egyptian history remains one of the key aspects of her legacy, as she fought until the very end to preserve her country's autonomy. Cleopatra's historical impact transcended her own time. In her final moments, as she faced the impending collapse of her reign, she chose to end her life rather than be paraded in a Roman triumph. Her death marked a poignant and dramatic end to a monarch whose intelligence and drive had once kept the kingdom of Egypt a powerful force in the ancient world. Her demise, alongside Mark Antony's, ensured Egypt's subjugation to Rome, and Cleopatra's story became one of legend, filled with both triumph and tragedy. Today, Cleopatra remains one of the most studied and fascinating figures in world history. Scholars, historians, and even casual observers continue to examine her life through various lenses, from gender studies to political theory, exploring how her reign and legacy fit into the broader narrative of ancient Mediterranean politics. Her story has evolved into one that continues to resonate, portraying her as a symbol of defiance, grace, and strength in the face of overwhelming odds. In addition to her political and cultural influence, Cleopatra's image has evolved in modern times as an icon of empowerment. She has been celebrated in feminist discourse as a figure who, through her intellect and authority, challenged patriarchal structures of power. Her ability to command the loyalty of some of the most influential men of her time, Caesar and Antony, speaks to her exceptional leadership and charisma. Cleopatra's death in 30 BC sealed the fate of Egypt, but her life continues to captivate imaginations. The grandeur of her reign, the complexity of her character, and the dramatic nature of her downfall have ensured that Cleopatra's memory remains vivid, complex, and multidimensional. Her legacy as a ruler, a diplomat, a mother, and a woman of remarkable intellect remains an enduring testament to her place in history.